does. I don't. You guys don't pay attention to legislation. Don't give me that pulpit bit.
Well, you clearly do have a pulpit, but why? How do you approach this from the ground up so you get people talking about it?
I've always said we would never have had the new state hospital if we hadn't found the cremains, and the Oregonian, had not decided we will do anything you ask us, Peter, editorially, and they just went for it. We never would have gotten there. Never would have. You would not have a new state hospital today if we hadn't found those cremains. That's a tragic story, but we would never have had mental health parity today. We would never be where we were if you didn't find those cremains and the story behind it. And that is a fact of life. That is a fact of life. To get to the next level of true education understanding, I don't know what event it will take. I do not know what event it will take, because we're not there now. But it may take some kind of a horrific event to get people finally there. Because you could hold these seminars. I'm not trying to disrespect what happened in the library up there. But it is not sex and sickness. It does not approach the level it has to if you're truly going to break through and have true mental health parity in terms of people's thinking. It's just, we just can't get, we're not there. I don't know what event it's going to take. And God forbid, it's going to be probably a tragedy, a terrible tragedy. And I just don't know what it is. So, you say bully pulpit. We could have billboards up, I suppose, or you could, but somewhere, it's funny about this. I've been working on the seismic issue before you were ever born. I started in 1999 before any of you were born. And it is now 2017. And I have screamed about the seismic events, and we finally got a little ballot measure in 2002 to say that this monster's coming. Nobody believed the monster was coming. Nobody. And that we ought to take care of our schools, our hospitals, our police and fire stations, 2010. We didn't spend hardly a dime, even though the public said you could spend up to $2 billion. Just 2 weeks ago, a major list came out. Finally, in 2017, you must have read it, all the schools that were getting grants, and I almost cried. Glory be to God in heaven. We finally, after, 17 friggin' years, it took us that long to finally get, you know why? Some female journalist in New York, some major newspaper did an article, and it came, I'm telling you, she did an article, and it exploded on the state of Oregon. Exploded. It did. And Channel 8 can't get enough of this. I don't care. Every other week, Channel 8 is doing something about bridges. Channel 8. Now, that's an example. I've given you 2 examples. If you want, you can't just do it with a nice education program. I'm not trying to be mean to you. But it'll be up to the media. The media will decide this up or down. I'm sorry. They did it with the cremains, and you're doing it with the seismic awareness of my state to make them aware of. This monster is coming. Because everybody talks to me about it now. Everybody talks to me about it. And it's because the media finally decided, and it was a journalist. You know what I'm talking about? You know what she wrote the story? Do you know what I'm talking about? She wrote a little story. And boom! I've been talking, who cares about Peter? Talk about a pulpit. I don't even know how to have a pulpit. I ain't even got a neighborhood. I ain't even got a tent. So don't come to me, yous. You do it. You step up. Media, you step up. You change the world. You get us mental health parity.
Peter, OPB did a big story on earthquake preparedness as well.
Thank you. So you're simply confirming what I'm saying, but OPB didn't do it in 1999, and they didn't do it in 2002, and they didn't do it. They just did it in the last 24 hours. With all due respect, it took that long.
Sorry.
Are you trying to break up my office or what here? I didn't mean to upset you. Here's the deal. My point is, you're making my point. It took OPB that long. I mean, why did OPB do it? Why? They didn't do it because of Peter. Nobody listened to the old man. You tell me.
Peter, what do you make of the fact?
He's getting me. He's wearing me out. This guy. He is
we
wearing.
We got to go pretty quick, so let him finish his question.
Peter, what do you think of the fact that the governor proposed closing Junction City. And
Don't talk to me. She
and-
knows I'm mad about that.
May I finish? And she's gotten a lot of pushback on that, and she proposed a new women's prison, and she's getting a lot of pushback on that.
Well, I don't know what you're trying to do to me here. Peter's against the governor. If you're trying to play that cutesy game, the governor knows from day one I was upset about Junction City because I let her know. The women's prison has been something that it's another example where we can just incarcerate people. And I think we're really working hard this session. I have to say, this is one thing we're trying to do bipartisan, to say, let's not just build more prison beds. That isn't the answer to how we turn people's lives around and how we make ourselves safe. And that's another whole revolution we need to get into. But I'm going to tell you something. A lot of that discussion involves mental illness, whether you know it or not. If you want to get real, you build another prison, and you're ignoring the fact that mental illness is a major reason some of those women are in the situation they are. In fact, a high percentage of them.